Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers Masterpiece review. Today, thanks to Kapow Toys, I'm taking a look at something a little bit different. It's the latest offering from Takara Tomy as part of their Masterpiece line. It's MP-32 Convoy Beast Wars, aka Optimus Primal. Now, unlike most of the plain black Masterpiece boxes, this one has the reptilian dino scales that the Beast Wars packaging was renowned for, and on the back of the box we are bombarded by pictures showcasing just how good this figure really is. We have a small bio, we have pictures of his robot mode, his faces, his Mega Blaster, Convoy Jets, Cyber Blades, Plasma Cannons, Beast Mode, the Beast Mode faces, and all of the accessories. If you order through Kapow, they do have a limited quantity of the Beast Wars Metal Mace accessories. They're nice, they're big, and I mean there's a lot of heft there. Definitely better than the original kind of translucent plastic versions we got with the 90s toy. Here he is out of his plastic prison, and I love him. I think this is fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, he's small, and he is literally the size of your standard Voyager figure, the likes of Masterpiece, Wheeljack, etc. But it's incredible. I mean, this really does have huge similarities to his CGI counterpart. Getting up close and personal, just look at that face sculpt. That's incredible. Yes, he does have some pretty ghastly panel lines on him where the joints are, but just look at the texture on the arms there. They've tried to get fur, and I think they've done a really good job. I just can't get over the head sculpt. That's insanely good. We do get the two alternative face sculpts. You get this screaming, crying head, and you get this kind of smirk. And to change the faces over, it is pretty darn simple. You literally just pull the face forwards, and that comes unpegged using these two tabs here. And we can put his angry face on by sliding that back in. What a fantastic resemblance. They've done a very nice job. He comes with two blades. He also comes with various different bot faces. He has the battle mask, he has a standard face, and again he has a crying out face. Nice and tidy at the back. We do get some robot mode legs visible. I don't know how they really could have got away with hiding that, but I'm very impressed by what they've done. I like to have these shoulder tabs unpegged. You can have them in. I like to have them unpegged. It looks a little bit unnatural from behind, but it does allow us to bring his arms really far forwards to get that kind of stomping along pose. Now, another alteration we can make is if you grab this leg section, there is a waist joint inside there. You can just pull that back, and if you see the joint there is moving inwards and outwards, you move that up, and once that's up you can then rotate his legs around, filling this gap here and filling this gap here, and then we can just place his legs to the back, place his fists down, close off the fists, bring this section round and tilt the head back. And there we have him in a very gorilla-esque pose. That's one of the things I like about this mould, is the fact you can pull off some very realistic posing. I mean, he looks like a very happy primate. Slight word of warning to you though, just be careful. I've got some chipping on the back here where it's been constantly transformed to and from whilst I've been filming these reviews. I don't think it's going to be a common problem. It's just while I was getting used to it, but there is some little flakes on there, and because of the texture and this kind of printed fur, I can see that getting damaged if you're not careful. Now let's take a look at his scale. Was he ever meant to scale with the other Masterpiece line? No, not at all. In the actual Beast Wars animation, he was an itty bitty tiny gorilla. And he did kind of float up into Optimus Prime, touch the Matrix, and become a little bit bigger. But no, he was never meant to scale with the current MP line. In fact, he was meant to scale with the Transformers Generations line. In particular, the likes of Rhinox and Rat Trap, etc. In fact, I think maybe Rhinox is probably a bit small, I guess, looking at these two together, but they still look fantastic. I think they've had this masterpiece in the pipeline for quite some time, considering they've got him pretty screen accurate, albeit the visible panel lines, etc., that I mentioned earlier on. The articulation is absolutely incredible. Let's just start off with the head. The head can look up and down. We can look left and right. We can even pivot to the side for quizzical poses. The arms can go all the way around on a lovely soft ratchet. We can come out to the side. This section here can actually move independently. It's on its own hinge. That's a fantastic ratchet there. We have a really deep bend at that elbow. We get an upper bicep rotation, which allows us to get a fantastic amount of range. We can get a really good chest beating pose. The wrists rotate, although they are pretty stiff. The hands can move independently of the wrists. They rotate left and right, albeit a very small amount of range. The fingers are articulated at a pin through the center. The trigger finger is separate and can be bent inwards, and the 3 remaining fingers can follow. I do love the way the knuckles are bent over for his galloping in beast mode. Coming down to the waist, there's no actual waist crunch, although we have already touched on the fact that the lower crotch section can shift forwards and back to give the illusion of his back arching. The legs can come this far forwards and that far back. Again, on a soft ratchet, they can come out to the side, so he can do some sort of King Kong high kick. There is an upper thigh rotation. There is no real knees. The whole leg is one kind of fixed unit until we get it into robot mode, hence the reason we have to arch that back to give him the appearance of different length legs. Coming down to the feet, the toes do wiggle forwards and backwards. The heel itself can move as a separate piece, and we do get some really nice deep ankle pivots. So if needed, he can strike a fair few poses. Now we do have a light up feature for his robot mode. To get access to the battery compartment, you want to just pop off his beast head, pull down this back flap. There is a screw there. You unscrew the screw. Now it does take 2 times LR44 batteries. Pop that back on. Let's get him transformed up into his robot mode. To begin this, you want to push his shoulder sections forwards. That reveals this peg here. Do that for both sides. You can now pull this section out and pull this section out. The backpack section is tabbed in just to the side of the neck. Grabbing hold of the butt plate, just push up, and that untabs these sections from around the shoulders. Now push that section up and bring it up. With this section lifted up, you can tilt his beast head backwards, which allows us to get access to this chest plate. Pull the chest plate forwards and upwards. You can then grab the lower stomach, grab that outwards and lift that out. And as you can see there, you can actually now see his robot mode head. And what you want to do, you want to angle this backpack section so there's enough clearance to push the ape head back. And as we push that back, it's going to go into the chest cavity and come up, revealing the robot mode head. Push this chest section inwards, like so, and then lift this section up. There's 2 tabs here. They correspond with the robot mode head, and tab that in. Come around to the backpack section. That is on a pivot. You want to rotate that all the way around. Push this backpack section up. As we push it up, you want to bring over these shoulder cannons. They can come up. With this section here square, there's a tab here and a tab here. We can now tab those in, securing the backpack into place, and we can then fold these gun sections back down. And there's a small tab just behind the arms. You just push that in and secure it into place. Coming down to the legs, you want to flip open the robot foot, bring in the gorilla foot, untab the thigh section, rotate this section around, and as we rotate it around, it can push back in, covering off the backs of the legs, giving him very monstrous calf muscles. Straighten out the heel spur, come around to the knee, flip the kneecap all the way down, extend the robot leg fully, bring up the shin section and close off the gap in the leg, fully rotate the waist all the way around, pull the chest plate section out, up, around and back down into place. Just tidy up the top section and the bottom section. Come around to the arms, bring the shoulder sections up, rotate the arms around so the bend is facing forwards, and then straighten off both of the fists. Last and final step, just make sure that the crotch plate section is fully pushed and secured into place. And there we have one Convoy Beast Mode or Optimus Primal. And here we have him all transformed up. Now, speaking from a personal point of view, I've handled a lot of Masterpiece figures in my time doing this reviewing, and I've got to say, this might not be one of the biggest Masterpiece figures, but my gosh, it's one of my favourites. I absolutely love it. Now, I was born in 1984. I was kind of then coming out of watching programs when Beast Wars came out. But it was at just the right time to colour me interested and to grab my attention. And this figure has all those emotions flooding back of me running back from school, flicking the TV on to watch this. And this figure really does deliver. The sculpt itself is nigh on impeccable. They've done a fantastic job at capturing his CGI likeness. It's just Optimus Primal. It looks really good. They've done well to get a very close resemblance in both modes. He holds his weapons very much like he would any other Masterpiece with that standard peg. For the batteries, I don't actually have any LR44s in the office at the moment, but if you listen to the audible noise, just pushing down on the head would light up the red lights behind the eyes. Now, the visor itself is already painted red. I personally don't feel there's a need for the light up gimmick. I know it's nice to have there. I don't really feel that it's a selling point though. It's a fun little feature, but it's painted up. You know, if it was a clear visor with those dead eyes, then I'd understand it, but it's not. They're really bold, really vibrant eyes. Do we really need the light up feature? Probably not. Now, much like his Beast Mode, you can switch out his faceplate. To do this, just move his antennae sections back. There's a small gap there where you should be able to get your nail in and pull the faceplate section forwards, and we can change it out for his much more sterner looking self. Now, of course, this isn't everything. There is, of course, more than meets the eye with this figure. We have his flip over Mega Blasters, much like we got with the original toy. An extremely nice gimmick in the form of the plasma cannons. By pushing on this tab here, that releases the catch on this side section. We can now lift this section out, and extending that out, we have the cannons out. I think that's fantastic. They were extremely well hidden. That's a nice gimmick. See, that's a gimmick I can get behind. They've even decided to include Convoy Jet Mode. We can just pop out the side panels here, move this section up, and just by pushing down, we can reveal two little jet thrusters. We can then pull this section back down, pull this section back down, and there we have some thrusters at the back so he can propel himself forward, flying through the air like a flying robot monkey does. Taking a look at the articulation, the head can look up that much, down that much, we can look left and we can look right, we can tilt side to side. The arms are on a soft ratchet, we can come up to the side, we have an upper bicep swivel, we have a bend at the elbow, above and beyond they're 90 degrees, we have that rotation at the wrist, and we have the same movement on the fingers as we had with the front legs of his ape mode. We now have the added ratchety goodness of a waist swivel. We have legs that can come out this far, back this far, we can come out to the side for a nice big high kick. We have Really nice upper thigh rotation. We have not one but two joints on the knee. It's quite an ugly looking joint once it's revealed, but it's there nonetheless. I prefer to have it as a single jointed knee. It looks a little bit more natural, but the option is there. And coming down to the feet, we can go forwards and backwards, and look at that piston moving up and down on the inner shin. That's fantastic. And we do get pivoting side to side again with the great piston movement. So now Bossbot can pull off some of those dynamic poses that he was always destined to do. Weapon storage is available on either side of the backpack section, and although I didn't mention it in his beast form, there is a peg which can be flicked down to be used in bot mode and in beast mode, which can attach to the underside of Rat Trap, and he could be carried on the back. I think that's fantastic. For a quick size comparison, here he is with good old trustworthy Rhinox again, and that looks good. I'm happy with that. It may be slightly out. I think maybe Rhinox is just a tad too small, but I am literally in love with it. I think it's fantastic. I know I'm fanboying somewhat, but I think this is going to play to a lot of fans out there. A lot of guys were growing up in the 90s. This was their Transformers, and I think Takara are onto a winner. We all know that Cheetor is coming soon. We already have the new repaints of Rhinox Rat Trap. Whether you are a Beast Wars fan or a G1 purist, I think we can all successfully say that now is a good time to be a Transformers fan. And what sort of size comparison would it be if I didn't include MP10 himself, Optimus Prime? If you would like to order this product now, click the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.